Hey, what sounds you got up in there, dog? This motherfucker think I'm playing, man. I asked you a motherfucking question. Huh? What are you listening to, you fucking faggot?
Leave him alone, man.
Man, shut the fuck up. Now, you want to grow to be like that punk ass.
Come on.
That's a nice watch.
I'll show you how to be a G.
Shit is nice, man. That's cool. Yo, I got this.
This is too easy, man.
When did you get out?
So you won't let me see my kids?
You can't be seeing you.
My money, too.
After her shift ends, Erica hopes her boyfriend will accompany her that night, but he's tied up with work, leaving her to go alone. Not long after she meets up with a friend, he suddenly shows up anyway, catching her off guard in a way that instantly softens the disappointment. Later that night, they're back home, leash in hand, taking the dog out for a quiet walk. At the park, they let the dog wander while they settle in close, talking casually about the future, the kind of conversation that feels easy because nothing's gone wrong yet. When they realize the dog isn't nearby anymore, the search starts small and relaxed until they find him with a group of hoodlums who've decided to turn the moment ugly. Phones already out and recording. The situation escalates fast, taunts turning sharp, laughter turning cruel, and before either of them can pull away,
Give me your watch, give me your fucking ring, bitch. Let's go. I ain't got all day.
punches start flying. The couple is overwhelmed. Erica is slammed into walls until her face is bloodied, while her boyfriend is beaten with a bat and stomped mercilessly. Only later does help arrive, as both are rushed into the emergency room for treatment. At the hospital, another body is rolled in, and Detective Mercer steps up and starts questioning the late victim's daughter in a way that slowly nudges the blame toward her stepfather, hinting at a history that may have ended violently. The tension spikes when the man overhears what's being implied and confronts Mercer. Voices raised, but the detective doesn't back down, working the room like he's seen this kind of mess too many times. 3 weeks later, Erica finally wakes from the coma, still foggy, only to be told her partner didn't survive.
He's gone, honey.
The news hitting her all at once and breaking through whatever strength she had left as tears take over. A short time after, she sits through a meeting with the police, unable to identify any of the attackers, every face still blurred in her memory. And when it's over, she returns to an empty house, moving through things and replaying soft moments with the man she lost, the silence making those memories feel louder than anything else. On her way back to the station for a follow-up on the case, the small, hurried footsteps around her suddenly feel wrong. Ordinary movements now registering as potential threats instead of background noise. After waiting too long at the station just to be brushed off again, frustration settles in, and she decides to stop the visit. Instead, heading straight to a weapons shop, only to hit another wall when she's delayed, making protection feel months away. Outside, still processing the rejection, a man approaches and guides her through a quieter, almost effortless alternative, placing a weapon in her hands. Not as a favor, and definitely not for free. After that, she goes to work, wiring a park, half listening to the sounds around her, conversations blending into background noise. Away from the office, the detective sits at a bar when his lawyer ex-wife shows up. He's clearly stuck on Mauro's case and pushes her to use whatever pull she still has to help nail the man he believes beat his wife till she gave up. But she shuts it down quickly, calling it a conflict of interest and making it clear she won't cross that line.
Sean, I'm your ex-wife.
Elsewhere, the grieving woman strolls into a small shop when a man storms in, shouting at the attendant, demanding to know why he's being kept from his kids. There's no negotiation, no buildup. He pulls the gun and empties it into her chest. As he starts grabbing whatever he can, Erica's phone rings, snapping his attention away. He goes looking for the source, unaware she's already moving. She circles around, finds him first, and without hesitation, puts him to sleep forever. Moments later, she walks out of the shop and heads home like it's just another stop in the day. That same day, police swarm the crime scene, but nothing about it lines up. 2 bodies down, no money taken, no obvious motive, leaving the detectives stuck, staring at more questions than answers. The shooter is back home, pacing through the memory on a loop, replaying every second until it blurs, then shifting gears to rehearse for the next time she'll be back on air, words forming as she practices saying them out loud. The next day, when she returns to work, her boss isn't convinced she's ready, gently pushing for a longer break, but she holds her ground and eventually earns the slot. Seconds into the broadcast, she freezes mid-thought, the silence stretching just long enough to worry the producers as they scramble to cover, and then she finds her footing again. She starts talking about New York City, her voice steady now, turning the city into something poetic and bruised, speaking about insecurity creeping into every corner. She folds in the loss she's still carrying, letting the city and her grief exist in the same breath.
Darkness. Night. People afraid of people.
On her way back, she's riding the train when a group of thugs starts harassing a young boy, then an older man and his kid, enjoying the attention as much as the cruelty.
Hey, what sounds you got up in there, dog? Motherfucker think I'm playing, man. I asked you a motherfucking question. What are you listening to, you fucking faggot?
Leave him alone, man.
Man, shut the fuck up. Hey, you wanna grow to be like that punk ass? Come on! That's a nice
I'll
wife.
show you how to be a G.
After chasing them off with insults still flying, the criminals turn their focus to her, confused by the fact that she stayed behind, emboldened enough to show steel and close the distance, even pressing it against her. As she steps off the train and walks away, questions begin to surface about why her first move wasn't to frighten them, why pulling the trigger felt easier than she expected, and why, after she fired, her hands lay calm in the air, denying her even the comfort of fear. The police arrive to clean up what's left, quickly tracing the weapon back to the shop shooting days earlier. For the detective, the pattern snaps into focus, reading less like random violence and more like revenge, or maybe the beginning of someone trying to purge the city on their own terms. As he pushes through the cluster of reporters, he catches sight of the woman walking away and recognizes her almost immediately. He approaches, but she introduces herself as the voice from the radio show, and that's enough to shut him down. Press is the last thing he wants. Elsewhere, the self-made sheriff is back home, unable to stop replaying the last recorded words of her victims. The next day, after a talk with a colleague about the new shooter, who they suspect to be a man, the officer crosses paths with the lady again, and this time, something softens after she shares her pains. Before long, the tension eases, the conversation stretches, and he even agrees to sit down with her for an interview, letting his guard drop just enough to make the moment feel real. They find a quiet place to sit, and once the microphone is on, she eases into it, calmly asking what goes through his head when he steps onto a crime scene, how he reads a room before the evidence does. The conversation drifts naturally to Mauro's case, the powerful man who took his wife's life to avoid being exposed by her. He admits the list of things Mauro should answer for can fill a book, but staying inside the lines of the law turns bringing him down into a slow, exhausting fight. At one point in the interview, he slips, hinting that justice might need to come from outside the rules, then quickly backtracks, visibly relieved when she deletes that part. She shifts gears, asking what it feels like after pulling a trigger.
Ever shot anyone?
Whether he has shaky hands. He says he don't, calling it the comfort of believing one's on the right side, then also adds that people like Mauro, and whoever's been behind the recent killings, don't get that luxury. When he asks how she managed to pull herself together after what happened, she answers softly that sometimes you don't really heal. You just fade into another version of yourself so you can keep going.
You become someone else.
They end the night trading small smiles, then go their separate ways. The next morning on her show, she dedicates it to cops, stating the good they do, then plays the officer's recorded interview, letting his words carry the weight. That evening, as she walks alone, a man pulls over and mistakes her for a call girl, then invites her into his car. She gets in and quickly notices a young girl slumped in the back seat, barely conscious. She helps her sit up, then hints at leaving, but the man locks the doors. Reading the danger fast, she draws her gun and orders him to unlock the car, and he does. The girl is paid off, and the two women step out, but as they walk away, the man floors the accelerator and drives at them. Sensing the danger, she reacts instantly, shoving the girl aside and firing back till her shots hit the driver. As he loses control of the wheel, the car clips past the girl before flipping over in a violent somersault, straight out of a stunt movie. Sirens follow not long after, but the woman who handled the situation is nowhere to be found. The next morning, reporters crowd around the detective, firing questions about the incident. As he wraps up, he spots her in the crowd, and moments later, they speak, telling her plainly she's probably the only member of the press he trusts. The vigilante quickly becomes the talk of the city. Some people praise the courage, others mock the idea, turning it into jokes and elevator chatter. At work, her boss asks her to do something different, lean into the new wave sweeping the streets, but she hesitates, clearly uncomfortable, then gives in moments later. Once the show begins, she opens the phone lines to callers who want to share their thoughts on the new anti-crime citizen. As the calls pour in, some fully support the cause, calling it justice where the law failed. Others argue it's reckless, not justice at all. A few just laugh it off. Eventually, when it's too much, she snaps, storms out of the studio, and heads straight for the police station, determined to turn herself in. But the moment she faces a cop, the words refuse to come out. Her resolve collapses as she turns around and walks out. On her way, the final words of every person she's ended echo in her head, loud and unrelenting. Now, in a tall building, she rings the detective, hoping his voice might calm her restless mind. He listens, steady as ever, even offers to help her sleep, but she declines gently after sighting a man entering the building. She hanks him and wishes him good night. With Mauro finally in sight, Erica follows him into the elevator all the way to the top. He steps out, headed for a waiting ride, confident, untouchable, or so he thinks, but she stops him. The boldness in her voice surprises even her as she throws his sins at him one by one, words sharp enough to draw blood. As her hand reaches for her bag a bit slowly, Mauro strikes first with a weapon. She stumbles, hits the ground hard. But the vigilante doesn't stay down. She gets up like she's done it 100 times before, and the rest happens fast. Moments later, police officers swarm the scene and the official story forms quickly. A tragic accident where Mauro fell. The department feels it as their pride takes a hit. Someone out there, someone with a personal score, is clearly sending a message, doing what they couldn't or wouldn't do. Elsewhere, David's mom finds Erica sitting on the stairs, shaking, blood drying on her. She cleans the wound with gentle hands, and for the first time, they really talk. When Erica finally admits she's taken a life, the older woman doesn't judge.
I killed a man tonight.
She just gives her a quiet pep talk about carrying guilt without letting it hollow you out. Back at the station, the restless detective orders his team to go back over every step, every procedure, every loose end. Someone made a move, and he wants to know who. While his men dig, he steps aside and makes a call to his new friend, hoping, just maybe, she can help him get one witness to finally say what they saw. They make their way to the ward, and it turns out to be Chloe, the girl Erica pulled out of the wreck that night. When questioned, Chloe insists she saw nothing, no faces, no hero, nothing at all. She does, however, casually admit she likes Erica's neckpiece and then takes it. A small thing, but it hangs in the air longer than it should. On their way out, the detective slows his steps. With a new edge to his voice, he asks why she really called him the night before. Erica just repeats that it's because she just couldn't sleep. Simple.
I told you I couldn't sleep.
He lets it go, but not completely. Later that day, another officer brings in a witness from the train shooting, a nervous kid. After some careful nudging, he finally blurts out one thing he remembers clearly. There was a woman there, sitting calmly, unbothered, like she didn't belong to the chaos at all. That's enough for the detective, who pushes the kid toward the sketch artist, telling him to be precise. When the final sketch comes back, the room goes awkward. It looks like a movie star, prompting a few officers to laugh it off, convinced the kid is playing games. Not long after, the officer pays the lady a visit and hands her a piece of jewelry, hers, the one she lost the night herself and her partner were attacked. After claiming it, he asks her to come with him to identify some men linked to that night. She hesitates. Resistance written all over her, but after a beat, she agrees. At the station, Erica stands behind the glass as the thugs are paraded on the other side, one by one. She shakes her head at the first two without blinking. When the third steps forward, she hesitates, just long enough to raise the detective's eyebrows, then exhales and says none of them fit. As she storms out, like someone who's just brushed past a ghost, the officer, who now suspects something follows, asking if she's okay, then softly offers to buy her a meal. At the cafe, he opens up a little and talks about the evidence piling up, how every thread they pull leads back to a woman with a reason to purge the city. He says he won't hesitate to clamp down on anyone committing crimes, even if it's someone he has a soft spot for.
Someone close to me.
She nods along, saying just enough. There's calm between them, but it's tight, stretched thin. When she moves to leave, he asks her to stay. Their hands brush and stay put. Accidental. And he wonders out loud what her late partner would think of a woman tearing through the city like this, but she cares less about what the dead thinks. While the officer digs into the late-night call from Erica, she moves the other way, choosing action over process. At a jewelry shop, she requests for a name tied to the ring, and the attendant gives it after receiving some cash. That name leads to a woman who refuses to talk, explaining she knows what those men can do before shutting the door. As she walks away frustrated, her phone buzzes, and it's a text from the same woman. An address and a video of Erica and her husband getting beaten on that sad night. She watches the beating once, jaw set, then forwards it to the detective and heads straight for the address. The detective's phone rings, and the report comes in. Erica's call that night has been traced to the same apartment Mauro's body was found. The officer grabs his jacket and moves fast because he knows something terrible is about to go down. Meanwhile, the woman with the grudge tracks the hoodlums down, and when the first man steps up to question her, he's met with a harsh reply that sends the rest scattering. She recovers the dog and starts to leave, but something pulls her back. Quiet certainty that she's capable of more, so she turns back. Circling around, she catches another thug from behind and shoots him in the back. As she hunts the next one, it backfires. The man appears from nowhere, kicks her down, the gun skidding away, his hand closing around her neck with a weapon. Then, the one-man cavalry arrives. As the bad guy drops to his knees, she scrambles for her weapon, but the man stops her, softly begging her to drop it. And when she does, he hands her his gun instead. Watching the video earlier has done something to his mind, and he no longer objects to the woman taking the law into her own hands. When the man begs for mercy, she shuts it down and places a bullet in him. Erica turns herself over to the cop, but he has a different plan. He wants the vigilante erased. Just bad men killing each other. So he asks her to shoot him, sealing the story, and she does. After a kiss on the head, she walks away. Moments later, he frees the dog and calls for backup. Reunited with her dog, she heads home, knowing she'll never be the old Erica again. She took the law into her own hands, and in the end, even the detective who was investigating her decided to help cover her tracks. But this dark ending leaves us with a massive question for today. Do you think Erica was justified in her actions, or did she cross a line she can never come back from? And what about Detective Mercer? Was he right to hand her his gun and let her walk away? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'd love to read your take on this moral dilemma. You definitely don't want to miss our next new recap. Click the video on your screen right now. You're gonna love it.